In language arts, so we started with Fox Fables. We introduced that we wanted them to try to write a children's story and try to incorporate some of the words, languages that we were doing. The curriculum connections to actual language arts, we were focusing on, up to this point, we were focusing on how to find a theme of a story, and we were talking about elements of fiction, like setting, the plot, things like a climax, and really looking at conflict and the relationship between conflict resolution, theme. And so this was actually a good little project to kind of tie into that, and that's how I introduced it. I said, writing a children's book is a really good way to look at how your character needs a conflict. They have to resolve that conflict, and that's going to tell you what the theme is. I said, if you could do that for a children's book, it's going to help you do it. We're going to move into a novel study, and it's going to help you do it with a larger book with more complex themes and stuff. And to be honest, some of the grade 7 students, right, it's a very difficult actual task for them to do, is to be able to pick out the relationship between conflict and the theme of a story. And so I'm hoping that time will tell, we're going to do the novel study, how this worked. Some of these stories, I don't know if we're going to share these right now. Is that part of this?
Yeah, we won't go through them. If you want to use one as an example, otherwise we would spend probably a really long time. So if you want to take one as an example, go ahead. But otherwise, we'll save them for later.
Yeah, a lot of the stories did do that. A lot of the stories had themes such as bullying. This one was actually pretty interesting. I won't talk a lot about it, but it was right around the Pink Shirt Day for bullying, and this story is all about power and pink, and it's kind of like story of the Pink Shirt Day. This one's really interesting. This one was by like an ESL student, and he just kind of missed the point of conflict and stuff. But he did a really, because he's an ESL student, super nice kid. He kind of wrote about how he's proud to be Filipino, and he kind of told a little story about stuff in his own country. So he missed the point on the conflict. Another bullying one. Lots of ones about bullying. Some of them were pretty cool, though. This one was picking up on the actual themes that the dual language project was going to be about. It's about a kid that comes to Canada, only speaks German, and doesn't understand the language, is feeling alone. And then eventually, I think she tells her teacher, the teacher noticed that she feels sad. The teacher talks to the kids about learning other languages. The class learns some German and some other languages. Sarah doesn't feel so sad and starts to understand. And then all the students have a special day where they bring in food from their culture. It starts to become a yearly event. So they're actually taking right in kind of what this was about. So that was interesting too. So it did have good tie-ins to the LA curriculum.